What is up, guys? Welcome to another wrestling video, and it's been a second since I've done another video. I had a really small one that I went over how Fiend returned and what that was going to look like, but I haven't posted since then. But we did just have Wrestlemania the last two nights, and I thought I just wanted to get on here and talk about my thoughts on the matches from night one and night two. So I'm just going to go through all the matches that we had and my thoughts on them, and I'm going to give them a grade. Basically, I'm not going to just give the match a grade, but I'm going to give the feud itself a grade up to Wrestlemania. And at the end of the video, I will give the entire show a grade. And also, if you're only here to just hear my comments on certain matches, I will leave the time codes for each of the matches in the description, so make sure to take a look at those if you're wanting to see my specific thoughts on certain matches. But before we get into that, if you could please subscribe so you know when my next videos are coming out. I have teased the greatest WWE shop unboxing ever, and I have the box right here. That video is going to go up sometime this week, and you will not want to miss that. It is going to be a completely insane WWE shop unboxing, so you are going to want to subscribe and know when that comes out. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so the first match I'm going to talk about is Bianca Belair won the SmackDown Women's Championship over Sasha Banks, and yeah, we pretty much knew that this was going to happen. WWE has been pushing Bianca Belair for a long time, and while it was an excellent match, it was worked insanely well. They're two of the best wrestlers in the women's division in WWE at this moment, and I kind of predicted that Bianca Belair was going to win, and I think that's great for her. I think she's a great person and a great talent, but where I think she needs to start working a little bit more is on the mic and on her character. So if she can start getting those things together, then I think she'll be a very complete WWE superstar that's able to main event WrestleManias for years to come. So really great match, but again, I just want to see Bianca work a little bit more on her character, and then I think she'll be in business. So I'm giving this match a B+. Next up, we had Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley ended up retaining the WWE Championship, and I was honestly a little bit surprised at this. Like, over the course of the match, like going in, I thought I wanted Drew to win because I kind of wanted him to have his WrestleMania moment that he didn't get to have in front of fans for the last WrestleMania, but over the course of the match, I was like, man, it would be really cool if Bobby Lashley were able to retain this WWE Championship and have his moment in front of the fans, and that's what ended up happening. And I was honestly a little bit surprised. Like, I'm cool with it happening, everything, but it was so cool to see Bobby just continue winning his championship. It was a great match as well. It was worked really well. Two of the best performers in the entire business. And overall, I'm really excited to see where this leads, but like, where's it supposed to go from now? Is there going to be a rematch at the next pay-per-view? Who knows? And I think that's a good thing that WWE does, is we're not really sure where this is supposed to go now. So I give Lashley versus McIntyre a B+. Now the next match I want to talk about is Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. They beat The Miz and John Morrison in a tag match, and honestly, I was super surprised by this one too. Like, I haven't been a huge fan of the Bad Bunny angle. Ever since it started happening, I was just kind of like, okay, you know, it's another celebrity, whatever. But when Bad Bunny got into the ring, he looked really good. And Randy Orton has gone so far to say that he's an excellent talent. He might be the best celebrity wrestler that there's ever been, and I'd say I agree with him. So far, I think that he's been the best celebrity wrestler, and they need to. It's sad that his time in WWE is coming to an end, but man, it was fun, and it makes me look back on all those moments and be like, yeah, this was a good thing. So I'm giving this match a B. So next up, AJ Styles and Omos beat The New Day for the Raw Tag Team Championships. And holy crap, you know, Omos looks like a monster. You know, I've been a fan of the AJ Styles and Omos angle, but I wasn't really sure. I didn't know that Omos was gonna actually get into wrestling. So wow, like, you know, I'm really curious to see how they book him. Like, when he was holding up that championship, it looked like it was a toy in his hand. It looked so small. I had no idea he was 7'3". So overall, I'm really curious to see where they go from here with this. Are they gonna keep doing a New Day angle? But I really don't see Styles and Omos losing these championships anytime soon. But still, it was so cool to see Omos in the ring, and he looked really good. So with that being said, it was just kind of it was a decent match. you know? It wasn't the best match in the world, so with that being said, I'm going to give it a C+. Next, Braun Strowman beat Shane McMahon in a steel cage, and we all kind of expected Braun Strowman to come out the winner of this, although there were some great moments, some great bumps, some really like holy crap moments. You know, Shane McMahon took that bump from the top of the cage. That was pretty sick. But the feud overall was really decent, like it was okay. No one really knew why it was happening, but still it was a fun match to watch. I don't really have much to say about it other than I'll give this match a B-. And then Cesaro beat Seth Rollins, and it looked like kind of a squash match. Like maybe this was Seth Rollins trying to put Cesaro over, maybe get him a little bit more over with the fans, even though he's already over with the fans. I don't really understand why they felt the need to squash Seth Rollins with Cesaro. Maybe they're trying to book him more strong in the future. I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. Cesaro just, you know, he not super strong on the mic. It's not like he had an insane promo that he cut against Seth to make me care about this match as much as I think WWE wanted me to. But yeah, it was a good match in ring. You know, they're both great wrestlers, and but when I take the feud into account, I have to give it a C, because it just feels like there was, yeah, they had the Cesaro swing, 22 swings or whatever, but you know, I have to give it a C because I just felt like it was a good match, but it was not really any build-up that I felt was interesting. And then finally on night one, the last match I'm going to talk about is Natalya and Tamina won the tag team Turmoil. It was a pretty good match. You get to see more of the women's talent get to come out to WrestleMania and show what they got. Obviously the crowd was missing Tamina, and I think that she does a really good job, but other than that, it was just kind of it felt like a bit of a filler match at times. That's not to say that it wasn't that's not to say that it was not a good match or anything. I still think it was a pretty average match. But yeah, it was a pretty decent match, and I was entertained by it, so I'm going to give it a C. And now on to night 2 of WrestleMania 37. The first match we're going to talk about is Randy Orton beat the Fiend, and as you can see, I'm a pretty big Fiend fan, and if you're wanting to know my opinion on this, I was disappointed. Typically, as a Fiend fan, we tune into Raw every week, and we get about 5 minutes of content every week that we get to see of the Fiend. And I think we were all expecting maybe a quite larger payoff for this match. Yes, the entrances were super cool. The cinematic was cool of him going into the arena. The spectacle was great. The makeup was great. All the costumes were great. All that was great. But we have no idea what it means. Like, I'm not really sure what this all is supposed to mean. The Fiend lost to 1 RKO. It was a very underwhelming match. Like, I understand that these matches are not supposed to be Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan in the ring, but I feel like I was just left expecting a lot more and not knowing what. I was like, what just happened? Like, I don't get it. Like, I understand they want us to watch Raw to get closure, but it just felt, for a WrestleMania match, it felt like it was like if you're reading a chapter book, and it was one of the most unimportant chapters in the middle of the book that you honestly could have just skipped. So while the entrances and the spectacle was so awesome, the match just really fell flat, and for that I'm giving it a C-. So next, Apollo Crews and Big E fought in a Nigerian drum match, and Apollo Crews ended up winning dirty. It was essentially just a no DQ match. Like, they had drums across the ring, but they all ended up just getting kendo sticks and hitting each other with them. It was a decent match. It wasn't anything super cool, but I did like the use of the kendo stick. But I mean, it wasn't anything that I thought was super spectacular. I do think it's cool to see Apollo, that he's going to get a championship reign, so I'm really curious to see what he does with that. But other than that, I thought it was just a decent match, nothing to write home about, so I'm giving it a C. And then in one of my favorite moments of WrestleMania, Kevin Owens beat Sami Zayn with special guest Logan Paul on the sidelines, and man, these guys can just put on great matches, and I'm so glad that they're in WWE and that they can do these types of matches in what's essentially the mid-card. Like, wow, it was exciting, and just to see the two characters, they can do it well on the mic, they can do it well in the ring, they're the complete package. And you know, while I was hoping Zayn would win, and I didn't expect him to, but I was hoping he would just to see what would happen. At the end, we did get to see Logan Paul receive a stunner, so that was perfect. That was just perfect. I love seeing that. And so with all that being said, I give this match a B+, just because the match was great. I think the build-up was pretty good, and you got to see Logan Paul receive a stunner. And then Sheamus won the United States Championship from Riddle, and this was a great match. Like, both of these guys are really great wrestlers and great talents, but in the end, one person had to lose. You know, you hope that both of them have a championship at the same time, because they're both such great talents. But that bro kick at the end of the match, where he just Riddle tried to do a flip off the second rope, and Sheamus just caught him with the bro kick. That was insane. And 1, 2, 3, Sheamus is United States Champion, but I felt horrible for Riddle as he's sitting there and there's blood on his face and he's just looking really frustrated and upset. So I'm really curious to see where it goes from there. I'm glad Sheamus has the title, but I hope that Riddle can get it back at some point, or he can be involved in some other title picture at some point. That would be really cool. But this match was just incredibly well worked. It might have honestly been, next to the triple threat, which we're talking about, it might have been the best worked match of the entire night. So with that being said, I'm giving it an A-. And then Nia and Shayna Baszler ended up beating Natalya and Tamina. It was an okay match. I don't really have much to say on it. I think that someone else should get the women's tag team titles, because that division needs a little bit of energy injected into it. So I mean, it wasn't a horrible match by any means. It was a decent match, but I just felt like there was nothing really behind any of it. So with that being said, I'm just going to give it a C, and I'm going to move on. And then Rhea Ripley won the Raw Women's Championship off of Asuka, which was super, super cool to see. It's really cool to see both Bianca and Rhea winning their major championships at the same time, and I feel like there's a huge future in store for Rhea Ripley. I'm not sure where Asuka goes from here. I could see her taking some time off, because she essentially guided the Raw Women's division through all of COVID, which I really, really respect. So I'm not sure where she's supposed to go, but I think Rhea is going to have a really long run, and I'm really curious to see where it takes her. And the match was great. Like, it didn't have a whole lot of build-up, but the match was as good as you could have asked for. So with that being said, I'm giving that match an A-. And then finally, the match that we were all waiting for, Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Universal Championship. And wow, this match was insane. It was everything we could have hoped for. It had concertos, it had spears, it had Superman punches, it had yes locks, it had going through tables, it had everything. It was exactly what a WrestleMania main event needed to be, until Roman Reigns retained. And I thought to myself, I was like, going into this match, I really don't care who wins as long as it's not Roman Reigns, because honestly, I'm tired of seeing him as champion. I understand why people like him. Good for you if you like Roman Reigns, but I'm tired of seeing him as champion. I was just hoping to see someone fresh get this, even if it was Edge. I was hoping that we'd get an awesome WrestleMania moment from Edge, and I was like 100% sure that he was going to end up winning this. But in the end, I was mad. I threw a pillow when Reigns ended up winning. And again, though, the match ends the same way it did the last 3 pay-per-views. Roman Reigns ends up winning dirty. Great. Good for him. You know, I'm just kind of tired of seeing it, you know. I'm ready for something different, and I think it was just kind of a boring end to WrestleMania. It wasn't like Lesnar didn't return, and someone pivotal didn't return to try and take the belt off of him. So we'll see where it goes. I'm hoping maybe a younger talent can take the belt off of him, but whoever does, it's going to be a monumental thing, and it's going to be clear that WWE wants to push that person to the moon, because I mean, WWE is essentially staking their entire future on Roman Reigns like they did before the pandemic. So, I mean, we'll see who does it. It'll be interesting. It certainly sets it up for the future. But with that being said, because even though the ending was rough, the entire match was so great. And with that, I'm going to give it a B+. And in conclusion, I thought this was a pretty good WrestleMania, but comparatively, we have to compare it to other WrestleManias to give it a grade. And with that being said, I'm going to give WrestleMania 37 overall a C+. While I did enjoy it for the most part, I think there have been WrestleManias that have been a bit more jam-packed in terms of good feuds and better matches. but still, there were plenty of highlights to make you enjoy this WrestleMania and be happy to see the fans again. So, I mean, it was a good WrestleMania. It wasn't bad by any means. It was great. And it was great to see fans again. It was great to see some really awesome matches. So, and you gotta hand it to WWE. I'm not sure where many of these storylines are gonna lead. And that's something that we definitely enjoy about WWE, is the unpredictability. Thank you so much for joining me for this entire video where I review each of the matches for WrestleMania. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. What was your favorite match out of the entire WrestleMania 37 card? And leave me a like if you can, because it does help my videos get discovered so we can have a larger audience and we can have more conversations with even more people about WWE. And just one last reminder, if you could please hit subscribe so you can see my new content. I would greatly appreciate that. We are trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of 2021, so help me hit that goal. And oh man, I'll be so excited. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me in this wrestling video, and I will see you in the next one.